Hello, class. This is Trent Speck here, talking on behalf of AEP 855, module number 7. This is a human resource frame. I found it interesting when I was watching the YouTube video and kind of putting the hierarchy together. I thought it was interesting. It kind of made me kind of step back and relax and say, okay, what would I want if I was a building principal? How would I treat people? Where would they go on the hierarchy? And here we go. So Bowman and Deal. So 2013. Okay, so they decided that leadership was under two parts. The first part was servant. Um, this fits right into my leadership role. You know, when we did the test at the start, I had two types: servant and situational. And I really believe that servant is kind of what I was here for. So servant means let them see you serve. So that's Williamson 2017. Have humility. That is great. We just did an assignment on that last module, and humility. That's putting people in front of you, and that is so important in today's age. Not a lot of people want to do that. It's all about me. It's all about now. The microwave generation. I want it now. I want it now. Instead of stepping back and saying, "Hey, does this benefit everybody or just myself?" The next one is make sure that you know you care. You're building them relationships, and then you're investing in your people when you're doing this. And then the second part is a catalyst. This is a spark. This is what you want when you have that leadership. Okay, and that's what kind of Bowman and Dill said. And then the next part is catalyst also means that you're investing in leaderships. You know, you have that spark of making sure that they're on the same page as you. Yes, you might be ahead of them because of your title, but you're still putting them in front of you because you have everyone's best interests at heart. So I like that, and I like that YouTube video. So this is my hierarchy structure. So it said to put the principal at top, and I fully believe that the principal should be at top. The reason is because how can you help other people if you can't help yourself? You know, you can almost make that biblical and say, you know, take um, the wood out of your eye before you take it out of someone else's eye. You know, you're there for a reason, but you got to make sure that you yourself is learning, you yourself is progressing, and you yourself is uh, being a servant before you can expect other people to serve. And if that's a culture you want, you got to expect it from yourself first. And that's where I fully believe the principal should be. Next is the students. And this is self-explanatory. I mean, you're investing in the future. So you have to have the students there. I think for me, I think that the teachers or the students have to be at the top. Okay. The next one is teachers and office staff. Now, I think office staff for me would be the secretary. Of course, the teacher should be there. Teachers are harder to come by than office staff, and I think that the teachers have to be equipped because they're the spending the most time with the students. So how do you expect your students to serve and be able to serve and have humility when they grow up and get out of high school or junior high or whatever if they don't have the teachers to equip them? So I fully believe it goes students and teachers, and then office staff. Office staff, you know, I always joke with our principal, and he always said that the two main people in the high school are office staff and the custodians, because they're the ones that really run it. And I always laugh, but it's true. The secretaries keep everything in line, and they don't get enough credit for what they're doing. The next on mine would probably be maintenance, personnel, and custodians. Now, I'm not saying that they're not important. I just think that you don't spend as much time with them, and they don't spend as much time with the students. For me, maintenance, I probably see. I mean, we had an air conditioner that broke this whole year, it seemed like, or the heater or whatever, the electronic system of it. So, I mean, it was kind of screwed up the whole year. But finally, when they got it fixed, I didn't see a lot of the maintenance people. But the custodians, we had one in the morning and then one in the afternoon, and they did a phenomenal job. And I don't think they get enough credit. But I think serving wise, I think they're just under the teachers and office staff, at least for me. Next would be cooks and paraprofessionals. I, this was hard where to put where. Paraprofessionals, they're really important. I, looking back, I could almost put them right under office staff for me because they spend a lot of time, and sometimes you get great paras. I mean, they are phenomenal. I have one lady who is absolutely kicked or hits it out of the ballpark because she does math, but she doesn't just do it just to help the kids. She learns herself so she can explain. So she is ESL, so I mean, she talks English and she does a phenomenal job, but she's also bilingual. And that to me is a skill that I wish I had because she can explain it and reach it in a different way than I can. So she learns herself. But then I also have some paras where they're kind of not professional. They show up maybe a little bit late. They're learning it, but they're not helping the kids. They kind of just sit them back. And for me, sometimes I look as a teacher, I expect the parents to help as much as they want and as much as they can. Now, if they don't feel like they can as much in math as maybe as social studies or reading or science or whatever, then I mean they don't need to, but I expect them to be engaged and helping the kids, and sometimes I haven't had paraprofessionals as good. So right above there for me is cooks. Cooks don't spend a lot of time with the students, but they're still present and they still do. I mean, you might see them in the hallway, and we do everything online or at my old school that I just moved from. So they did everything you send in an email for what you wanted at lunch. So I mean, they're having a lot of contact with the students and principals and et cetera. Next for me would be parents. They're under all of them. Yes, parents are important for our students and they need to be engaged, but you know, I, for me, principal, I think being a good servant and good situational is being able to understand how to connect with everyone. I'm going to back my teachers almost 100% of the time. Now, I'm not going to, if they're in the wrong, I'm going to let them know that they're in the wrong. If it's something minor, I'm still going to have my teachers back, but I'm going to tell the parents, hey, the teacher messed up. I'll talk to them for that. That's my job, and I think that's what being a good leader is being flexible. And I think from student teaching, one of the best teachers I ever met was I got a student teach under, and he was saying, when you go into this job, you got to be flexible. You got to be able to roll with the punches kind of type thing. And some days technology might not work. Some days you're going to have a couple kids acting up. Some days you're going to have this, that, fire alarm, whatever, tornado drill. You got to be able to be flexible. And I think that's being a principal is too. I think it's just on a larger scale. Next would be probably alumni and community. I kind of put them side by side. Probably community is right above alumni because your community is involved. That they're the people that are writing checks for fundraising and coming out to ball games and supporting and coming to the band and choir concerts and etc. Alumni would probably be a little bit lower because they might move away, they might not be involved as much anymore because they don't have any kids in the system. I mean, it just kind of depends. I mean, like I said, I think community would be right above alumni. I mean, those could be interchangeable for me. So that's kind of how I think of it. As long as students first, those they're our future. You got to invest in them. They got to know that you respect them, and I think you'll gain that respect back. And that's being a good servant and a good situational leader. So, shared vision. Uh, Talking about this, I think three things for me: humility. Students are the future. We gotta put them first. And I think being a principal, when you make those hires, I don't think you're in charge of cooks but you are in charge of paraprofessionals. You are in charge of teachers. You are in charge of office staff. If they're gonna follow you, for one, you gotta lead yourself and you gotta progress and keep learning. But at the same time, if they're gonna share your vision, you gotta have the right office staff and they gotta be on board. And I think that's what being a good leader is being able to pull those people all together and make it a teamwork type effort, and everyone's on the same page. Next, is a relationship is all. If you can't build them relationships, the leadership, all the knowledge and all the skills and everything that you know goes out the window. You have to be able to build those relationships, and that's what being a situational leadership is being able how to connect with freshmen, sophomores, juniors, office personnel, custodians, maintenance staff, paraprofessionals. You got alumni, parents. You got to be able to connect with everyone. And I think that comes down to being flexible and being a good situational leader. So I hope you enjoy the video. I enjoy this class. I learned a lot about myself. I think it's important in understanding yourself so you can help others. Not putting yourself first necessarily. I think you still got to put yourself first in some aspects, but you you got to be able to help yourself before you can help others. And I think that's important. So I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope you enjoy the class as much as I have. Leave comments, leave your name, leave emails, and stay in touch. But good luck with the rest of the class, and the rest of your classes. So thanks again, Trent Speck signing off.